whether it's regulations for businesses, educational opportunities for entrepreneurs, or important legislation impacting local companies, the San Diego Regional Chamber of Commerce is keeping an eye on what's going on so they can help. Joining us live today, as she does every Monday, is Stephanie Benvenuto, the Vice President of Public Affairs for the Chamber. Stephanie, thanks for joining us as always.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so something coming up is something that's been a hot topic here in San Diego, especially in our beach communities, sidewalk vendors. When and where it's appropriate and who's allowed to do it. Something big is happening with that right now, though.
Yes. So after literal years of working on this, we have a proposed policy that's going to be before the Council's Committee on Economic Development and Intergovernmental Relations this Wednesday. And that's a big deal because street vending, just like any other business, requires laws and rules to make sure that it's operating safely and with the relevant health guidelines. There was a bill that passed back in 2018 that essentially required cities to put their own policy, their framework forward so that it could be enforced on the local level. We haven't had something like that locally, not for lack of effort. We're finally at a spot where I think we're going to see something move forward, but we're finally going to see that policy move into committee this week. If it passes, it's going to go before the full council in early March. But what you can expect from that policy is things like the vendors on the street have to have a business permit, which is really important, right? You want to make sure that these businesses are following health and safety standards, especially if they're selling things like food. It covers things like where they can operate and when, hours of operations, how close they can be to a busy thoroughfare, a school, or another business. I mean, imagine what it's like for some businesses who are competing with somebody who sells exactly what they sell right outside their door, or you can't get people in and out of major events. That's a safety issue. So the Chamber's been really supportive of this. We're really hopeful it's going to move forward. The good thing about this policy, too, for folks who are saying, does this really consider the folks who have been in communities forever selling tamales? It does. It's supposed to lower that barrier so that if you are one of these pop-up businesses still figuring it out, there's not this huge mountain to climb in the regulatory framework to get yourself there so you can be successful. So we'll see how it goes on Wednesday. Yeah,
so a lot of people are just going to be happy to hear we have a framework to start working with. We know none of these policies will make everyone happy because some people would like to see them all gone and others would like to see no barrier for entry for other people. So it's nice to see that moving forward. A recurring theme when we have our talks about San Diego and the Chamber of Commerce and dealing with workforce issues is the price to live in San Diego. Something to help people who maybe fell behind during the pandemic is important right now. What's going on with that?
Yeah, so San Diego has an exceptionally high cost of living. It's one of the things that we continue to rate at the top of for the country. But one thing that people should be aware of is that there is a rental relief program throughout the city of San Diego that's run by the city's Housing Commission. And that Housing Commission just received $8 million extra to go towards that rent relief for folks who are struggling to pay their bills. This is really important, and especially from the business community perspective, because we talk a lot about the workforce and where is everybody and there's all these jobs. But the fact of the matter is there are still folks who are struggling for whatever reason to make those payments. And so this extra $8 million is going to help people cover back rent. The commission's already covered 15,000 families since the start of the pandemic. And there's still so much need there that the commission requested $115 million from the federal government and only received $8. So we're probably going to see that money go fast. But if that does speak to you or a family you may know, make sure that they get in touch with the Housing Commission so that they can get themselves on the list.
Good to know that there's that kind of help out there. Only about 30 seconds left. It's all your eyes time. Chambers, not so secrets. Your team Hufflepuff, so give us some good news.
Yeah, the County of San Diego has a small business stimulus grant that applies for any business who's under 20 employees or less and who's based in San Diego County and has been for a little bit more than the past year. Contact your county supervisor, find out if you're eligible, or just go ahead and check out the website. But again, the county's small business stimulus grant. Get in there and make sure you're getting that money.
Stephanie Benvenuto with the San Diego Regional Chamber of Commerce, helping businesses, helping workers get things done in San Diego. Thank you so much for your time. See you next Monday.
Thank you.